All right, and welcome back to game number 2 of SGR Reborn versus Team OOD. I am your friendly neighborhood Jackcaster Charogan, and once again, I am joined by the one and only Torres.
Hello.
All right, well, after that last game, I'm expecting things to get pretty spicy once again. I have a feeling that OOD is probably going to be looking for another bloody face comp, and they're going to try and keep SGR from doing the same.
Yeah, we'll probably see a little bit more, see if any of these compositions change up a little bit. OOD kind of had that late scaling comp, and SGR kind of had that win condition early. I mean, we saw the win condition early go off on Hapate, but the other side of the map, everybody else was kind of a slow start, and he was kind of carrying them through the early game, into the mid, into the late, to eventually win that game. But I mean, well, the bans don't seem to have changed much. Except
for that set ban, which was not there before.
Yeah, Hapate striking fear into Django and the rest of his squad. The boss can no longer live on his throne on the Rifts.
And look, even the picks are exactly the same. So it looks like both of these teams have decided that their original draft plans, it was like, you know, the draft was good in theory. We just had that, like, OOD's probably like, everything was great except for that set. That was the one thing we didn't account for. So let's not get that.
Yeah, I mean, he really was the wrench in those gears. But I mean, on the side of OOD, it's interesting. I mean, they had a really good fighting chance. I feel like a lot of their fights went the other way due to positioning mistakes. We'll see if they can clean up their shot calling and everything else in this next game.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for as well. And it looks like we have the Leona coming out on the side of SGR as the first champion who's different during this draft. I think that is a pretty good pick for Frozen, especially if they're looking for a more engaging comp rather than going for the slightly more passive Morgana pick, because that allows them to basically get the lockdown and Leona goes into the fight rather than hanging back.
Yeah, I mean, the one counter pick is the Morgana. We can see that Antune will opt to play that. He's more known for his hooking champions. Probably play something a little bit more like a Nautilus, maybe even a Thresh again. But I mean, I don't see him picking up Morgana, even despite it being one of the counters to Leona.
Yeah, especially with the amount of engage that's coming out from the side of SGR, I feel like that's probably not what they want. They want something that's a little bit more beefy to able to stop that front line. I have a feeling we're going to see another Thresh so that we get that Flay disengage for the Leona and the Diana dives. We do have the Orianna coming out as well on the side of SGR, so I definitely think this is Orianna puts the ball on a teammate, that teammate then either dives into the back line, which followed up by a Shockwave. And that's going to be a huge amount of damage and a huge amount of disruption to any team fight that OOD is trying to put out. We do have the Lilia coming out as well on the side of OOD, but looks like that the Lee Sin's most likely going to get flexed to the top lane this time rather than to the jungle.
Yeah, most likely flexed to that top side. We'll see Django sporting the Lee Sin. We'll see how that plays. Socksmith is playing something a little less aggressive, less in your face, and more into the supportive role. Kind of power farm, maybe go for some counter ganks on the Lilia. We'll see how that plays out, but something I want to point in SGR's draft is they kind of learned from the last game. They saw what their comp lacked, and they're kind of looking to aid it. Kind of switch it up a little bit. They added Leona for more dive and siege, as they kind of lacked that last draft.
Yeah, they did. Lacking that siege almost didn't work out in their favor, so I think letting them have that this time is going to really work in SGR's favor, like you said. And one thing I do want to point out with that, Lilia, you were saying that you're going for a more supportive role, which is exactly true, because then they'll be able to stop a lot of the SGR engage if they're able to get off a good sleep. We do see the bans coming out right now. It's going to be the first ban on the Tristana, so basically Photograph is unable to really get that hard lane pushing champion. They did ban the Draven as well, so that's another tool in Photograph's pocket that's been taken away.
Yeah, with that Tristana ban, I'm actually expecting a Kaisa pick from SGR. We've seen Warpack play before. He seemed to enjoy it. Didn't really seem to enjoy it last game, but is a comfort pick. Kind of had a hard time due to the Tristana pick. But it looks like they're opting to ban it instead.
That's an interesting choice to ban the Kaisa away. I don't know if we've seen Photograph play a lot of Kaisa, but it definitely looks like they're trying to get rid of the options that he has available to him in the bot lane. So I'm really curious what we're going to see. I kind of expect something that's going to be pretty poke heavy, so maybe like a Jinx or a Caitlyn on the side of Team OOD. I'm really not sure though.
Yeah, not really sure. I mean, something very unorthodox. I mean, the Leona does pair well with Misfortune. This lane could be going, but I mean, they're essentially going in blind at the moment. The Lucian does seem to be getting picked. It is picked, locked in for OOD though.
Interesting. That is a locked Lucian. I'm not sure if I would have picked that first, because now SGR knows exactly who they're going to have to draft ADC against. Probably going to be looking for some kind of distance ADC, someone to try and stop that engage. Really kind of curious, though, what they're going to end up picking for their top laner, though, on the side of SGR. What do you think they're going to take against the Lee Sin?
I think against the Lee Sin, we could even see the Karma top going out with the comp is pretty well rounded. At this point, you have your hyper carry, which is the Jinx at this point, which is already locked in. You have some control for chokes between Diana and Orianna, and you have your engage with Leona. It wouldn't be all that uncommon to see an enchanter like Karma come out, but I mean, knowing Kapate and how hot he was on that bruiser kind of character with that engage, we can probably see some bruiser type, maybe even the Jax or something. Well, maybe even the Malphite
Jax
as well.
is still available.
Yeah, maybe taking a back seat and even picking the Malphite, going for that little bit of a wombo combo. But we'll see what it gets picked.
Yep, Wombo. We have the Fiora coming out. Okay, so it looks like SGR is definitely going in for that hard engage, hard team fighting comp. Like that is a little bit different, I think, than what we've seen these past couple of games.
Yeah, a little bit different, but Hippolyte is feeling himself today, really feeling his mechanics. They do look crisp and clean after that botched first dive. Was mainly forgotten after that monster performance he put up. I can imagine this matchup does go in the favor of Fiora. You get some early pokes, the Lucian can't really trade in the minion wave, you get those vital procs, and if you time your stun right, it will just end on the Dragon's Rage. It will be a favorable matchup for the Fiora, who's always going to have that push.
I absolutely agree. Fiora is definitely one of those fighters who's is looking for you to try and CC her so that she can just repost it. And it definitely looks like with that, it's going to be a tough lane for Django. We do have Antunes picking up the Braum, so that is going to be a Lucian Photograph, Antunes Braum bot lane. That is a pretty nasty combo, especially for a Leona, because she's going to be able to dive in, but not going to be able to get a lot of support from the ADC, as that Braum shield's just going to block any type of damage that's trying to hit into that Lucian.
Yeah, I mean, it's block essentially for the 2v2 lane. It's not bad. Of course, there were other picks that would have been better. Personally, I'm going to lead in favor of SGR's draft, just inherently how it played out. I mean, I think OOD really, they disabled their flex pick with the Lucian by picking the Lilia so early in the first rotation. Not only that, they picked something like the Lucian, which essentially could go on for comfort for Photograph as the Tristana was banned out, but not very good in this meta. Essentially is just worse than Jinx if he doesn't get any early kills. And the Braum pick, leaving that for last, leaving that counter pick on the red side for OOD onto Antunes, that Braum pick essentially isn't very good into the Leona. I would have liked a little bit more from OOD.
I completely agree with you, and based off this draft alone, I'm going to have to give it to SGR because I feel like Apate's on fire right now, and he's just going to be waiting to style on Lee Sin. So let's go ahead and hop onto the Rift and see how this plays out. Ooh, once again, we got that spicy 5-man stack.
Everybody watching for the winners or the losers bracket, whoever SGR's next opponent has to be watching these games for this VOD. It looks like the 5-stack is going to be something prominent and used very frequently.
Yeah, although it's kind of funny because we got the 5-stack invading in the top side jungle, we got the 5-stack invading in the bot side jungle. It's kind of like where's everybody at?
How is that? We'll see. It looks like SGR has kind of sniffed something out. Notice no one's on the top side of the map, but they might just get caught out as one member is going back to the base and one's still on the top side of the map.
They are taking the slow route back as they're not just all immediately rushing to their lanes. So it looks like, though, that they are expecting an invade from Odir. SGR is looking for that invade from Odir.
Yeah, I mean, they really wanted this. They're kind of just lingering around, wondering if they're going to go for the late invade. Looks like Street Smith kind of sniffed something out. I mean, he's cautious.
It looks like they're going for the Raptor steal in this case.
The Raptor steal is not bad. We'll have to see how Demon War kind of just recovers from this, because I assume he's going to go red to Crouch and notice that Soxmus has already taken this. He decides to full clear it. It will set him behind a little bit and propel Soxmus ahead, but still at that crab, I think Soxmus will still have the advantage. I mean, Demon War will never be able to chase him down. It's Lilia.
Oh yeah, Lily is always going to be able to run away really easy. Look at this, Apate just getting the nice bit of damage with that poke, diving in.
Yeah, we can see how this top lane matchup's going to go out. I mean, Fire's going to always have the push, but she's always going to have the advantage in the 1v1 as well. I mean, Hapate just goes in, kind of just trades. If the vitals are in his favor, it's going to be even more brutal than this.
That it definitely is. Like, just look at that damage already. Django's kind of forced down into the half health. So is Hapate, but Fiora's got that healing on those vitals.
Yeah, this game's going out pretty much how it was supposed to go out. There's just a full clear from Socksmith, despite from that early invade. Demon Ward kind of shakes it off, notices his Raptors are gone, essentially just goes straight to the Wolves. We're probably going to see full clears from both of these junglers until level 6.
Most likely. And, you know, one of the things I did notice is Socksmith decided not to leave anything alive in the Raptor pit, killing that last little chicken. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if it would have been better for him to leave that one alive, because we did see that Demon Lord Nanoid did go for the Krugs at clear, and so had they left that one particular Raptor alive, it would have made that camp spawn at a much later point. Could have set Nanoid behind a little bit longer.
Yeah, but since it was the first camp, and the Raptor camp does spawn, as soon as he finishes that, once Socksmith finishes that full clear on the
Look
top
at that
side,
damage! We got Hapate getting exceptionally low, just deciding to back off, not continuing the engage, not going for that lunge on the vital. I do think that Django was looking for that, waiting for Hapate to make a mistake, but Hapate's not doing it.
Yeah, it looks like SGR does know that Socksmith's on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, they know that he's going for...
Looks on the top side of the map, though. Diana's found her way over to the top side behind Django.
He's behind Django. Django does manage to get the Sonic on him and is able to dive into the backline. Django taking a lot of damage as Nanoy has to almost dives under tower. We have Big Twig diving under the top tower, taking multiple tower shots and getting stunned by the riposte, and first blood goes over to Hapate.
I mean, Django kind of just connects that Sonic Wave, kind of walks out, is forced to flash from Demon Ward. A good look, but I mean, Big Twig TP's in, trying to see Hapate really low, but gets stunned up by that riposte. Hapate is on fire today.
He really is. That was a beautiful parry. Getting that Throne Breaker stun to basically shut everything down. Street Smurfs right now is fighting Socksmith in his own jungle. We have Demon Lord Nanoy coming to join that fight. That is a double flash coming out as they just aren't quite able to get Socksmith, and Lilia just kind of prances away.
Yeah,
oh, you have a TP coming in. That is going to be really nasty as Hapate's looking for this damage. Hits the Vital, gets the Blade Work slash, and that is going to be another kill.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear the French like deer meat, Sherigan. I mean, Socksmith goes down. He was really lucky to even get out of that in the situation in the first place. The double flash over the wall, Demon Ward and Street Smurf kind of just let him live, but I mean, Hapate says otherwise. Now he's 2-0 in this lane.
Hapate taking the duelist, I feel, is just kind of like expressing his feelings about this matchup right now, where he just longs for a worthy opponent, and he's just not getting one these games.
I mean, Django's not catching a break either. I mean, Demon Ward's made himself known on this top side of the map. Probably going to be the story of this game.
Another break, and look at this, the dive in, the lunge, getting a lot of damage, look at that, just absolutely chunking Django down. He cannot stay in this lane.
Man, one more second, and I swear, if that Q was up, Hapate probably would have flashed forward, but I mean, just letting Django go by the skin of his teeth. Socksmith is kind of just relegated to just catching with this EXP on the top side of the map.
And it's just absolutely nasty. Even in this bot lane, we see Photograph trying to get some damage off, but Lucian just does not come online until you get a couple of items into him. And it's just absolutely disgusting. That is a nice Zenith Blade, getting a good root and a stun. The Ignite comes out, Photograph getting really low. Frozen's going to go down to that Ignite, as does Photograph going down as well. Warplaque is just going to chase Antunes down as well, trying to get off as much damage as they can, but is just not quite able to keep up with them, as that slow from the Braum just keeps them from keeping up.
Yeah, I mean, a one-for-one trade, but the difference between that is that the Braum got the kill from OOD, while the Jinx got the kill for the gold on SGR, and see a little bit of a skirmish down in the mid and the top side.
Skirmishes in mid and top side, but they really are not going in favor of OOD. They're both going in the way of SGR. You saw a nice bit of healing coming out on Big Twig, but the fact that he needed it at all, Street Smurf is just putting a lot of pressure on him at this moment.
Yeah, Street Smurf is indeed putting a lot of pressure on him. He's moving around for his teammates very effectively. I mean, he's playing the control mage very well. He moved up for this top scuttle in case Socksmith was there. Moved over for the roams when he was getting attacked. I mean, we're going to see how much of an impact he can have this game. In the early game, last game, he wasn't having much of an impact. Did step it up in the later stages of the game, but I mean, we'll see if this game gets propelled forward if he makes more of a presence known.
As of right now, it looks like Nanoy is just matching Soximus gank for gank, and basically kind of counter jungling him in a really effective manner. Whenever they knew that Soximus was in the bot side originally, he was already looping around behind Django to help try and get that first kill. We have right here in the mid lane, that is a nice shockwave pulling him back. That is a shockwave coming out as well from the side of SGR. Soximus does manage to pick up a kill as they take down Street Smurf. Orianna got beaten by her own abilities during that fight.
Yeah, Big Twig has been really good at utilizing his sideways combos, utilizing the ult, knowing his damage percentages, especially with Soximus working in tandem. You can see that Street Smurf kind of felt safe as he saw Frozen was around, but little did he know that, I mean, Soximus was already on top of him, Street Smurf was isolated in this 2v1 situation, and Antunes was following close behind.
Yep, and right now we have Django, who's kind of... Okay, so this is, again, we have a resourceless champion versus a mana champion, and I feel like he's playing this lane to the best of his advantage, where he knows that he's got more resources available to him than Apate does, but it's not going to really matter, as Apate has those vitals that are procced by auto attacks, so it's going to make it really dangerous for him to keep any engages going.
Yeah, really dangerous, but Django does have this sort of window, and I think Kapate kind of realizes that his mana was low, takes the safe route around. If he took another one of those trades and doesn't land the riposte in the Dragon's Rage, you can see that kill going over to Django.
Exactly, and right here, Django has got himself kind of in a little bit of a bad position, I think. Luckily, look at that, he's got a nice bit of damage coming out, does manage to get the Palm Strike. We got a Warplaque getting hit by the Lilia Ball. Does take a lot of damage. The Sleep coming out. We have a TP coming out, though, from Street Smurf coming to join this fight. Demon Lord Nanoy has got the ball on him. Does not... Actually, sorry. That is a lot of damage coming out right there. We got Leona diving under tower. Does manage to pick up the kill onto Photograph. Tanking a tower shot, but it's not going to take him out. The Lilia, though, is going to manage to pick it up. Big Twig trying to continue this fight. Does have to flash over the minion wave. Does manage to hit Nanoy. Does manage to take him down. Street Smurf getting hit by the Braum Q. He is in a really nasty spot, getting caught here in the alcove. Soximus wants to try to help, but knows that if he gets too close, he's going to get taken down himself. Soximus is not able to style on it as Big Twig hits him with the big stick.
Yeah, I mean, some good roams down from the side of OOD. They're able to do that. Photograph and Antunes bought a lot of time from saving their flashes in the last 2v2 that happened on the bot side of the map. Street Smurf unfortunately didn't have ultimate. We saw the 3-man ultimate come down from Demon Lord Nanoy. If Street Smurf had ult, that fight looks way different, but unfortunately does not. And I mean, the kills go in favor of OOD.
That they did. It does allow them to pick up the Windrake right now, which is going to be kind of important for them to get. That is a snipe coming out of Warplaque that's just a little bit too late. Django tried to avoid that Vital getting hit, but is not quite able to.
Yeah, I mean, top lane's kind of stabilized at this point. Fire is still ahead, still at 2 kills, has the item lead, but I mean, Django's keeping himself alive, unlike last game.
Very, very much so, which is something that he needs to do. Basically, at this point, he's like, look, I'm just going to try my best not to feed my laner, and that's going to be for the best. Unfortunately, we do have 2 deaths already given over to Fiora. 2 kills right there are going to put them just a little bit ahead on top of their 12 CS lead. Look at this Photograph taking so much damage from Jinx without even having to go into tower. We do have a TP coming down as Big Twig comes to join the fight. He takes the Leona ultimate. They're focusing on Warplaque. He misses the Solar Flare, though, but that is going to be a knock-up coming out from Braum. The stun coming out as well, and that is going to be a kill given over to Photograph.
Yeah, you could see this Big Twig TP down, saw the window, knows Warplaque doesn't have flash from those earlier exchanges, probably communicated by his team. Although he misses the Solar Flare, the Glacial Fissure does hit, but Big Twig's made his way up mid.
He does make his way up mid, and that is going to be a caught by the Thronebreaker, but the Shockwave coming out, trying to keep themselves alive, but they aren't quite able to do it. Frozen has come again to try and join in on this. This is the position that ODeer wants to be in. They want to get Big Twig ahead, and I feel like this is kind of... He doesn't have the nasty, tanky threat on the side of Apate this time, like he did from the set. He just has to worry about that CC, which if you can time your abilities around the riposte from Fiora, you can kind of negate her entire kit.
Yeah, OOD's playing good playing around the bot side of the map. They're getting kills on Big Twig and Soximus, but I want to see some kills going to Photograph. I mean, the DPS is not going to look that great if Photograph does not get some kills for this early to mid game.
Absolutely agree. He really needs to get ahead in order to keep ODeer in the running for the long haul, because once Jinx comes online, she's going to overtake Lucian very, very quickly. That getting excited is just going to cause her to have so much movement speed that just getting 1 assist or 1 tower is going to make her an absolute nightmare once these team fights start.
Indeed it will, but I mean, for now, the game is kind of stabilized at this point.
Look
Big
at
Twig and Street
this.
Smurf.
Street Smurf is just, Big Twig is trying to take him down, but he's not quite able to. That is a nice Diana ultimate, but it's stolen as well. The healing does not come out as the rest of the members of SGR come up to the mid lane, and they're probably going to go for mid turret is what I would think, but I guess they're just kind of being a little indecisive here.
Yeah, I mean, Big Twig in the mid lane, home of many, especially from SGR. 4 members come up, make the roam. Almost makes it a 1-for-1 though, on that with his lead. He has those 2 AP items. Takes the Diana ultimate, almost takes one down, but I mean, in the end, does go down right then and there. Django's keeping his way up to the top side.
Django forcing Fiora to take a lot of tower shots right now. That is going to allow him to pick up a kill on Hepate.
Oh, Django, beautifully played. Quick hands with him, the mechanics, burns everything for it, but I mean, in the end, that's totally worth it.
Absolutely. Being able to pick up that kill, it kind of puts him like in the running of, look, I know you're really strong, Hepate, but look, I got the skills to style on you as well.
Yeah, Hepate really feeling that one, feeling ahead that whole entire lane, and Django kind of just turns him down on his butt.
Yeah, with that, he kind of brings it back to even. He's still 1 kill down, but they've evened up the CS lead. He's going to get a couple of turret plates off this as well. We have a nice dive going on here in the mid lane with a TP coming out from Hepate as well. Looking to try and make up for that fight right there. We got the grand challenge coming out. That is 1, 2 vitals down, 3 vitals down. Hepate's not able to pick up the 4th on Big Twig, which would be a massive amount of healing. Hepate also is hit by the own grand challenge from Silas. We have Demon Lord Nano coming in, trying to get some damage onto Soximus. Not quite able to. Got another fight continuing here on the bot side as the ADCs and supports are going at it. Photograph getting a lot of damage down onto Jinx, but Warplaque is going to stay alive. We have Nanoi coming in to join in on this fight as well, as Warplaque gets out with a sliver of health. But the fight is still continuing. Looks like we have the nice Zenith Blade coming down, getting the Antunes taken down as well as he gets rooted in place. Probably going to be seeing another dive here in the on the mid turret.
And we can see how this breaks down our Adobe Crowd replay. We can see this happen. Photograph and Antunes are on the bot side of the map, kind of try to chase the mid laners down. Antunes lands a beautiful Glacial Fissure. Warplaque flashes forward. Photograph lands the exhaust and just barely the Ignite tick wears off on the Warplaque. Antunes is kind of just sitting there, waiting in the water, and Soximus has made his way over to try to kill Hepate. A little overzealous, a little early on the Q, and I mean, Hepate just picks it up. Really
got a little bit too close to that Fiora, so he was in melee range. Basically, it's the same problem as with that Darius Q. You got to make sure they're on the edge of it, not on the inside. Look at the amount of damage Django's been able to get onto that turret, though, during all those fights. He's having to run away down from Hepate, trying to just stay alive. We've already seen the riposte come out, so Django's in a position where he might be able to win this fight. There it goes, right there! Django, waiting out the riposte, is able to play the mind games.
Yeah, I mean, Django's been getting the better of this matchup. Hepate, at the moment, at least in these last couple of minutes, I mean, you expect Hepate to just roll this matchup. Hepate kind of just walks back into the top lane after taking down Soximus, doesn't spend his gold, and I mean, he pays for it. Django's just been slowly farming away and getting the better of it mechanically in this lane.
He has, but that was just the way that fight was beautifully played. It did allow for first turret to go over to OOD as well, so that is going to be a lot of gold in their pocket right now as they start to pick up the second Drake.
You can see both teams kind of poking around the dragon right now. Big Twig does opt in to steal the Solar Flare away from Leona.
We do see the snipe once again coming out from Warplaque just a little bit too late as the dragon goes over to the side of OOD.
Yeah, a little bit difficulty timing that. I mean, it always is the safer option just to go for the ultimate. Fingers crossed. Solar Flare comes down.
Look at that. Solar Flare coming out. Does manage to pick up both members, but the Solar Flare return fire from the side of Frozen. So getting a lot of damage out, a lot of CC. Look at this. We got Demon Lord Nano diving in onto that back line. Photograph is barely staying alive, as is. He had the Lee Sin shield, but it looks like Shutdown Gold is going over to Jinx. We got a double kill going over to Diana as she takes down the Lucian as well. Demon Lord Nano is just starting to come ahead right now. We have the Sleep coming out, which is going to keep Lilia alive. But that was Big Twig, Photograph, and Django all going down in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, you see OOD play the well-controlled dragon control with the vision, not letting SGR kind of walk in, but they walk a little bit too far forward after the dragon, after the play was over, lands the Solar Fire. What looks like a good engage, but I mean, the ultimate from Street Smurf and Nanoe just absolutely demolished OOD.
It was very well played on the side of SGR, and I think that was a vision diff on the side of OOD. They just weren't aware of the other members of the Street Smurf Reborn hiding in the backline, waiting for that engage. And that was a really good Solar Flare trade on the side of Frozen.
Yeah, I can see this game's kind of OOD is kind of taking the back foot. They've kind of taken their foot off the gas, feeling a little bit more scared. They've been doing well skirmishing up until now, but I mean, it seems like what happened last game is coming to light as well, and in this game as well. The decision making and positioning is kind of just not there right now. They seem a little mentally shaken. I mean, they're taking fights they have no business taking and are losing them.
They really are, and I think that's what ODR's gotta get a lock on. Is they've gotta stop making those positioning mistakes if they want to stay in this game, because it does look like SGR kind of has their number and is ready and ready, willing, and able to take any challenge ODR is throwing at them.
Yeah, you can see that Django is kind of looking for that play in the mid lane. He's kind of opted out and out of the 1v1 on Hapate, sent Big Twig down there. He's trying to make some sort of play. As I mean, it's really their only disposition they have.
Look at that. That was a nice jump onto Frozen, but that is going to be a kickback as the Dragon's Rage comes out. That is a solar flare that's just going to get 3 members of ODR as they just get completely locked down and shredded by the sunlight as well. Antoon's going to go down to the snipe from Warplaque as he gets the boom rocket right on him. Big Twig taking a lot of damage from Powwow as well. I really like the way that SGR is playing these fights.
I'm really liking the way SGR is responding and playing these fights, but it's also discredit to OOD. I mean, they find a nice pick onto the Leona, but you can tell from losing those continuous fights, they just didn't have the damage to burn her down as fast as they liked. And I mean, Demon Lord landed a nasty ult, just destroying their health bars, about 75% to each member that got caught in it.
That is very, very true. And that is going to be another set of towers going down for the side of Udyr as SGR just manages to pick those up. It is now 3-1 tower-wise. The goal difference is only about 2k, though. Like, this is about the same as where we saw before. Both teams are relatively even, but I think we're seeing, like we've been mentioning throughout most of this, a very clear differential in how these fights are playing out. And I think that is going to make an even bigger gap as the game progresses.
Yeah, it's going to be a much bigger gap. And I mean, Warpath picked up a double kill, and now he has the most kills on SGR, something we just failed to notice a little bit ago. Now he's going to go back and probably finish his second item. The difference between him and Photograph are going to be monumental.
Yep, giving Jinx that Rift Herald as well, letting her have the empowered recall, get back faster, spend all that gold that they just got, gets them a Kraken Slayer, and now they're ready to go and take yet another tower.
Yeah, it looks like OOD's kind of just going back to their default playstyle, kind of trying to get some vision around that dragon before it spawns. I mean, having the buddy system between Photograph and Antoon's kind of just scraping away for EXP. I mean, we'll see how this dragon play turns out. I mean, both teams are going to try to fight for vision control before.
They are going to fight. We have the, look at that, we have the sleep coming out, but Abate knows exactly when it's going to happen and riposte just in case anyone's deciding to follow. We have Django hiding in the backside, trying to get some damage off onto the Warplague as it goes into the backline. Lucian ult coming down as well. The culling is not going to be able to find too many targets as the entirety of Oh Dear is just saying, oh dear, as they get completely decimated.
Yeah, I mean, we can see from this fight how it plays out. There it goes. I mean, Soximus sees Zapata in the bot side of the map. You can see OD all kind of crashing down, but all the members are really far away. Really wants that ultimate, but I mean, the riposte just stuns up Soximus in the bot side of the map. No one can chase him. Django sees a nice opportunity to go in, connects the Sonic Wave, goes for a ward hop, but Frozen's really fast on it, and he lands the stun so Django can't ward hop. Everybody else on OOD is baited into that fight, and they're really just eviscerated into that.
You really, I feel like as soon as they saw Lilia drop the sleep onto Epate, they knew that like SGR knew the fight was won. Because you saw all 4 of the other members were clustered around the front of that dragon pit. It would have been really nice to have that there. Look at this, Epate's just going to take Jaden go down. There's nowhere for him to go. The zap's going to come out. He has to do a little bit of stutter set, which is going to slow him down enough for Street Smurf to pick up a kill. And we have the Rift Herald getting dropped in mid lane. That is going to be a mid-tier 2 turret falling, and very well could be the inhibitor turret as well with how fast Jinx can take these towers.
Yeah, very well could. Looks like Demon Lord found himself on the bot side of the map, kind of trying to aggress Photograph, but kind of scared to take the 1v1.
Little bit scared, but that's just because it's Photograph on a Lucian. I think anybody would be a little afraid of doing that. They are going to clear out the wards in that dragon pit, get themselves set up so that basically they don't have to worry about anyone trying to get the dragon. Sorry, killing the dragon, not the wards. With that leaves the only objective on the map at the moment that's super easy for SGR to take as Baron. And with the state of these waves, I feel they could probably sneak it if they really wanted to. Yeah,
I mean, the Jinx is not really at the point where she can burn the Baron yet. because she has Kraken Slayer and Rapid Fire Cannon. If she had something like an IE, the third item, that Baron would burn very, very fast. But at this point, can't really. They have to also be careful about Soximus's sweep. If they were to land a 5-man sweep, something short of a miracle, layer that combo, Big Twig steals like a Demon Lord's ultimate. Their damage is no joke. They just haven't been in good positions, been taking 1v1s.
Their damage may be no joke, but you've got Django who's letting himself get caught out. He dodges the Solar Flare, dodges the riposte, but we just have Epate flashing the question mark as they jump over the wall.
Yeah, I mean, SGR is kind of just playing with their food at this point. They've won fight after fight. Their morale is so high. They don't feel like they can lose it, which eventually can be their downfall, but at this point, they're playing it. They're kind of slowly choking out their enemies, what they want to do. It's a 4-1 at this point. Epate is so strong, no one else can 1v1 him. They're kind of invading the jungler at this point.
Look at that! We have Soximus managing to pick up the red buff, but it's just going to get bursted down and exploded for it as Nanoy jumped on top of him. That is going to be Zhonya's down as well, so that's not going to be up for another minute. That is going to be an easy Baron call, I think, for SGR, as they know that they don't have to worry about a dragon.
Yeah, SGR is kind of running away with this game unless OOD commits robbery at this point. I can't see them coming back into this game, but alas, there's always a chance.
There's always a chance. This is League of Legends. There's always a way for you to do it. SGR, though, I think they've been really good. Once they've got a lead, they're able to hold on to it and able to be really strong. And at this point, like we mentioned already, it's just them playing with their food. They're just going to kind of choke this out, siege these turrets because they have the siege available to them now. And it's going to get really, really nasty as the rest of this game plays out.
Yeah, you can see Fiora doing Fiora things. Haven't moved from that bot side of the map for the last 3 minutes. Probably going to shove that in all the way to the inhibitor turret.
Big Twig hitting the Everfrost, managing to stump Demon Lord Nanoy, taking the Diana ult. They are able to jump on him, get a lot of damage out, but that's going to be Demon Lord Nanoy going golden. Shockwave coming out as well. We have the Culling trying to find a target, isn't quite able to. Antunes flashing in, trying to get a damage. That is going to be a shutdown going down as Lucian is able to pick up the strikes. He tries to dash over the wall, just barely manages to miss it as he accidentally hits face first into it, but we got Soximus picking it up with the auto attack, taking down Street Smurf.
I mean, just
fight is still going as Antunes is chasing down Frozen. That is going to be a stun coming out. Frozen just walking along, walking right in front of the Silas, though, as he teleports in. He knows he's going to go down. We have the rest of Epate jumping in on this back lane. The Grand Challenge is out. Doesn't manage to pick up the kill as he gets CC down and gets completely rebuffed, taken away. And that is going to be a shutdown and an ace over to the side of OOD.
I mean, we were just talking about the mispositioning of OOD this whole game and last game, but I mean, finally it comes out from SGR. They split their members. There's like a split fight over here. Warpack and Frozen are kind of fighting for vision control, trying to get that midway pushed. Epate is down on that bot side. And I mean, Demon Lord and Street Smurf are just way too far pushed up. Gets caught by that Everfrost. You can see Street Smurf trying to zone out with that ultimate. Ultimately finds no one. 4 members of OOD just eventually get the chase onto Demon Lord and Street Smurf. Eventually go down. Warpack and Frozen are kind of left in the wings in this jungle like, what just happened to my team?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you weren't looking down on that bot side, they were able to 2v1 the Lee Sin and take him out. This is exactly what OOD needs, is they need SGR making these kinds of mistakes, making these positional errors, and it's going to allow them to go in one at a time and basically come back. That Grand Challenge just wasn't able to quite hit that final auto, the flash from Photograph, and this is exactly what they need to win.
Yeah, it's exactly what needs to happen. Maybe a couple more times. I mean, OOD, while they have been losing, have been able to pick up 2 dragons in the earlier stages of the game. If they're going to play for that dragon win condition, they can keep on fighting these out-of-position members by SGR. I mean, they can make it back into this game. We just saw how it's going to play out.
That we have, and I'm trying to see here what other win conditions are available to put to the side of OOD, because while that was one big misplay by SGR, in essence, where they went in one at a time and allowed themselves to get stagger killed, I really feel like it's not going to set them back too much, as we see right here, Antunes getting pulled out, Demon Lord Nanoy getting absolutely shredded as he was in once again, a positional error. They think they're much farther ahead than they actually are.
Yeah, I think they're much farther ahead. Oh, Antunes!
Oh, he has like 20 or 30 health right there. That is such a nasty spot to see as a Jinx, where you're like, just a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't come in clutch there. Antunes surviving with about 2% HP, but I mean, forces him to go back at least.
is able to do that. If we're looking at these objectives that we have available on the map right now, Dragon is going to be up here in probably about another 45 seconds. And once that Drake is on the map, they're probably going to force a fight, waiting for the rest of OOD to come down. Look at this. Soximus getting sussed out by the zap. They know that he's on his way. Street Smurf is able to get a little bit of damage, but not quite a lot, having used the fruits to heal up. So right here, I think what we're going to see, Soximus is going to look for that flank, try and get that nice bowling ball hit to get as many members of SGR put to sleep as possible. If they're able to hit enough of them, able to knock them out of commission, especially the Leona, that Solar Flare has been a fantastic... Look at this. We have Demon Lord Nanoid getting caught out by Bat right there, and Red Turret's going to go down, and that's going to be an inhibitor as well, as the rest of the team is like, sure, go ahead and take out our jungler. We're going to take your base.
Yeah, I mean, they put him in quite the position right there. I mean, OOD did pick up that kill. They are now on Soul Point. But, I mean, it does cost them an inhibitor, and it's going to really... We'll have to see where SGR pushes this.
Look at that. Well, I think what's going to happen is SGR is going to get... They're like, oh, call an ambulance, not for me, as they get engaged on, and oh dear, is trying to get a lot of damage out, but they aren't quite able to do it. Fiora manages to get the grand challenge off, getting a lot of healing. We have a sleep put down right there as Leona is able to keep Soximus, take him down in place, shutting him down. Django getting shut down as well. This could very well be the final push to end the game.
Yeah, I mean, death timer is so high. The next one up is Photograph at 25. They could at least go for an inhibitor turret. It looks like the Orianna is backing. They do want that final push. They're going to TP into the wave, and I mean, this could very well be the end.
I feel like that TP was just a smidge early, but they're definitely going to try and bum rush this turret. That's going to be the first Nexus turret down. Next members of OOD are not up for another 10 seconds, and it's only going to be Antunes. I don't think there's anything that can respond to this Nexus, as that is going to be game number 2, going over to Street Smurf Reborn.
I mean, what a game, Sherrigan. We saw both. It was a bloody game for both.
It was an absolutely bloody game for both, but I feel like the calm and collected heads of SGR are the ones who were able to pull through. There was so many times where it looked like OOD was catching a member of SGR out, when in fact it was the exact opposite.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some glimpses of hope on the side of OOD. They were finally getting out of position players, but I mean, SGR played it smart this time around. Instead of just going in for that fight and following them into a 4v5, they decided to push that mid lane where they just end up getting this inhibitor turret. And then we see vice versa what happens. OOD goes back to their old ways where they caught out and they're going in one by one. They dive into that bush without any vision, just kind of separated with 2 parts of that fight. And I mean, they end up going down in that 4v5.
It was absolutely disgusting, and unfortunately, you hate to see it, but that is going to be it for these sets of matches. SGR is going to be moving on to the next round, and then it's just going to get even more intense as OOD has to fight for their continued existence in this tournament tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely intense, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're OOD, you can keep your head held up high. You kept on fighting, you kept playing aggressive, and now you have some extra time to work on a little bit, maybe some of this communication and some of these positioning plays where you have an extra week where the synergy can come to fruition in this lower bracket.
Exactly. Like, we were seeing a lot of positioning mistakes. That was kind of the big thing that really set them apart draft-wise. I think they had a fantastic draft. Other than that, though, I think we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with an interview, so stick around.
Hello, everyone. Chris Edgeworth here for the second interview tonight. For Mythic League, we have the victorious SGR Reborn. I have Hepet. They were saying Hepate on the.
Oh,
broadcast.
you did it right. Just right.
Hell yeah!
Nailed it.
Let's go. Okay. So, okay, on that high, I mean, like, dude, I feel like I just won the best of 3. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about your prep for this best of 3 you just won, though. So you did win this matchup in a decisive 2-0 against OOD. What was your team's preparation like coming into this matchup?
Preparation-wise, it was pretty straightforward. We just we like in the first week of break we did kind of like try stuff, see like what was working more outside of our main comfort zone. But right after, we just saw like how simple it is to play around mainly draft, because it's really one of our strong side. Also, great blind picks we have and flexibility we get from either supports or jungle mid, etc. is really what we were just trying to work. And for like the last week, it was really more just building more confidence on being more proactive on the map, which was clearly a true indication of why we won this series for sure.
Well, let's take a closer look at this series. In that case, the first game, you were playing Set in this matchup. Talk to me a little bit about the draft that you guys pulled out in this game, if you would, and how you thought it would play out. Just as a reminder, this was you guys were Set, Diana, Yas, Kaisa, Morgana. So what was your thought about this matchup, especially since you had to go against the Kayle, which kind of came online late in the game?
Yep. Well, to be honest, the draft was a bit sloppy around third pick. First pick, we were like knowing that the jungler was mainly a Lilia player, so we know like Lilia is really trash at the moment versus the jungle meta where Nanoi plays his champs. So for sure, blind picking jungle on blue side is just free. And the fact that we're banning Volibear, which is like one of the most branded champs playing jungle. And then right after, blind picking Kaisa, which is just logic. And we set pick was a bit like last second, but it was a good call. If I'm not mistaken, it was Frozen. Really good call, because Frozen was like mainly known for his set, which is really clean. And I've been working on it because I've seen the buffs, and it was also a fun champ to play. And then after, like, they just straight up trolled the draft, counter picking with Kayle. I don't know if Jenga like slept 2 hours or shit, but my god, he could have just picked like anything and other than Kayle, bro, with their comp. So it's just draft gap, and it's the same thing for the other game too.
Yeah, we won't dwell too much on the first game. It was, I don't know, a little bit one-sided, especially in the matchup that you had against the Kayle. Let's look a little bit more at this game that we just played, game 2. You were on the Fiora in this game, and Soximus did get his beloved Lilia. What were your thoughts on this last game you just played with, just a reminder for the audience, Fiora, Diana, Orianna, Jinx, and Leona for you folks? What was your thoughts?
To be honest, like, just the fact that you picked Lilia right after picking Listen is just like the most stupid thing ever. And like, to be honest, Lilia, we don't freaking care with the fact that, like, I can't imagine a scenario where you just pick Diana, where you get picked Diana Leona in your face, and you think like straight away, I might just go Lilia because it seems so free. Well, we saw it through the whole game. I think there's been like only one play, and when it was like skirmish top side when Diana got cut, it was like the only good play he did for like all 30 minutes. So to be honest, the Lilia pick is like, not only it's just trash, but it's so stupid to pick it in this game versus our comp.
I am, for my money, more interested in your thoughts on your individual matchup now. If you can enlighten me a little bit, in my opinion, it feels like Fiora would do actually quite well into Lee Sin, because you can just, pop the 4 things on him pretty quickly, and if he comes onto you, that's even better. It's easier for you to just dash around and hit all the vitals. What are your thoughts just on this matchup, and especially if I can pick your brain? We haven't seen too many Fioras in Friend or Foe. What are your thoughts on Fiora in this season currently?
Actually, I don't really know because I don't play Fiora. I just thought it would be fun in their comp to play Fiora, and knowing that Jenga is just
let's go.
Knowing that Jenga is just probably just good on Camille and Jax makes me think that even if he blind pick Lee Sin top, like I can first time a Fiora top in this matchup and just guess pretty much how the matchup goes. And it just shows because he required like 4 ganks or like at least 4 hovers, a TP from Silas where he gave me a free kill. And the only way he could kill me is if I was just limit testing for a plate. So I mean, big props to him for doing a kick flash.
Well, now that you find yourself in the winner's bracket after today, how are you feeling about your potential matchup against Poseidon Gaming?
Well, it's one of the teams where in scrims we have the most challenge and where it was the most close. I'm really looking forward for this matchup. Creadict, really fun top laner to face against. It's always like close tight. It's not like a fat gap like this series I played, to be honest. Most of the matchups are really like up to details, and most of the games are really like close call decisions. So I'm really looking forward for the next series.
Well, Pet, thank you so much. Really awesome series from you folks today. Before we step away, do you have any final words?
Jenga, yikes, dude. Yikes. Stick to Cammy, please.
All right. Well, with that little bit of banter out of the way, Hapet, thanks again for joining us, and congratulations to SGR and Poseidon for both their series wins today. Folks, we'll be right back before you know it. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be having 2 additional matchups for our losers bracket. 2 best of 3s coming at you. So, folks, join us then, and we'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m.